Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Ruben with Circumspect Life. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a relationship for any duration of time where you realize that there are certain characteristics about this person that you really don't like? This is the kind of person that you really don't want to be with. Maybe she's rude to other people when you go out to eat, rude to servers. Maybe she's puts you down in front of her friends or her family. She acts like a different person. Or you know, maybe you don't like the way she just doesn't care about life. She's just too free, too uncaring, too unplanned, and her life is just going in a completely different direction than yours is, and she doesn't plan on changing. Maybe it's a girl that doesn't want kids, and you want kids, and and that's not going. Nothing's going to change her mind. It doesn't really matter what it is, but if you've ever been in that situation, or you've seen somebody else in that situation, they're in a relationship where you could tell they're trying to put a round peg in a square hole, and you see that they're in a relationship that they probably shouldn't be in, they're not a good fit for each other. Well, today I'm going to tell you how to avoid that, because there is a way to avoid that to a certain degree. You're always going to have some problems in your relationship, in your marriage, but a lot of the things you're going to have are minor things that, usually character traits that are changeable. You have to work on yourself, your spouse has to work on their self, and they're minor things that aren't that bad. But I think all of us have things that are just stuff we don't want to deal with or put up with in somebody's character. And I think we sometimes avoid thinking about those things, because sometimes we see somebody and we're like, wow, this person is really attractive. We kind of like their first impression of themselves, and then, we're kind of hooked. So I want to talk to you today about how to avoid that. And one of the things I've learned about avoiding those type of bad relationships is to have non-negotiables. And that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be a quick video just to give you guys some tips and some insight on what helped me out in looking for a spouse and finding the right spouse. And this is something that I did, something that helped me out. So what you're going to do is you are going to write down 5 things that you do not want in a partner. And I want you to really think hard about these things. You can write 5 to 10 things down, but I want you to write things down that you're like, this is definitely the type of person I do not want to be with. These are definitely the type of characteristics I do not want to deal with in a relationship. Because a lot of times what happens is, it's kind of like buying a car. You know what you want it to look like on the outside, and you find the exact car that you want. You before you go to the dealership, you write down the color of the car, you write down the color of the interior, you write down the type of headlights you want, whatever it may be. You're like, well, I found the perfect car. But then you drive that bad boy home, and you never considered what was under the hood. You just looked at the outside, the exterior. And then you find out that that car has a lot more problems than you're willing to put up with. It costs a lot more than you're willing to pay. And that it usually costs us a lot more entering into a relationship blindly, just looking on the outside. You got to consider the inside. And when I was reading and studying, back when I was dating and considering who to look for a wife, a lot of times when I hear people talking about writing down what you want in a spouse, they usually focus on the exterior, how tall they are, color hair, color eyes. Look, none of that stuff matters. It does not matter if you could write down or articulate all the exterior characteristics of a person that you want, because you know what you like, you know what you're attracted to. So those things are pointless, and they're going to have you focused on the wrong things. You're going to focus on the outside of the person, and you're going to end up with somebody that is, really not what you want on the inside. And honestly, it's the inside that's going to, help to pull a relationship along and keep a relationship lasting. You're not going to look at somebody's beautiful, blue eyes and be like, oh, I know we have a lot of problems, but it's those beautiful blue eyes. Those are going to, keep us together. It's really that, who the person is on the inside that's going to keep two people together. It's not the physical. So you're going to write down 5 non-negotiables about what you do not want in a spouse. You do not want in somebody to date, somebody to court, somebody to, as a prospect. And, for me, there were things like I didn't want somebody who was, rude to people. I kind of pictured myself, in the future, thought, okay, I'm going to be sitting in a parent-teacher conference with this woman one day. Am I going to be embarrassed sitting there with her? Is this, woman going to be rude to people and think she's better than everybody else, look down on everybody else? I don't want to sit next to somebody like that. So for me, if a woman was rude to people, rude to waiters or servers, or just rude to people in general, I could tell she thought she was better than people, that was a non-negotiable. I don't care how beautiful she is, I would not date a person like that. Why? Because I'm looking ahead and I know the kind of person that I do not want to be. I do not want to try to fix a person like that. That's a type of character flaw that I'm not willing to put up with. So that was one of my non-negotiables. Another one is, does she treat me different in front of her friends? If we hang out with her friends or my friends or her family, is she going to be a different person? Or does she, have integrity? Is she the same person around different friend groups? Because I don't want to be with somebody and, we just get along really well. She just cares a lot about me, but maybe she's embarrassed about, something about you, or maybe she, for some reason, puts you down in front of her friends, makes fun of you in front of her friends, or something like that. Because that happens sometimes. You meet somebody and you guys are hanging out one-on-one and everything's going well, but you notice that when you guys are around her friends, she always puts you down. And when you're dating, and if that happens and you talk to her about it, she's like, I'm sorry, I just, it slipped up. If that happens again, it's like, okay, that's a non-negotiable. She's, that wasn't a slip up. For me, I would split. One of my non-negotiables. Another one was, is this person truthful? If I was dating somebody and I would catch them in a lie, if that were to happen, and I could tell that, well, this person fabricates stories a lot, or this person seems to embellish stuff, or quick to lie and try to cover things up. I don't want to be with that type of person, because you can't have an honest, open relationship with a person like that when they're constantly lying. So I had that written down on my non-negotiables. I'm trying to remember some more. But yeah, it's stuff like that, like things that you don't want to deal with. And I will tell you, knowing what you want in a person is very important. But knowing what you do not want in a person is equally or more important. Because if you can just avoid the negative of a relationship, you can work through everything else. See, because for me, I didn't think it would be beneficial to have to work through somebody who was, work with somebody who was a compulsive liar. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to avoid that altogether. If I see that character, don't care how beautiful she is, if I see that characteristic, I'm gone. I'm not going to put up with somebody disrespecting me in front of their friends or their family and putting me down. I'm not going to deal with somebody putting other people down. And it could be anything. The things that like, wow, this just irks me about a person. So, and they have to be non-negotiables. These have to be the things that if one of these things pop up, maybe you have 5 written down, maybe you have 10 written down. If one of these things pop up, you walk away. You have to have standards. You have to have standards for yourself. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your future self, your future kids, your future life, your future family. Because if you don't guard yourself, you're going to run into problems. And a lot of us could avoid a lot of problems by just knowing what we want to avoid. So that's going to be the end of the video. I encourage you guys, write down your non-negotiables. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know what some of your non-negotiables are, what some of the things that you really don't want in a relationship. And like and subscribe to this video. All right. Talk to you guys later.